In the spring of 1945, Heinrich gets caught in the middle of desertion by the SS. When asked about his motives, Heinrich calls his fatherland a nation of murderers. As a result, Starnfeld's colonel leaves him hanging on a tree in the middle of the forest. However, Elsa, a woman from a nearby remote farm, saves Heinrich's life and carries him to her house on a wheelbarrow. After waking up, Heinrich tries to leave at once, but Elsa urges him to stay until he recovers. However, Heinrich has a young daughter waiting for him in Hagen and insists he must leave immediately. Meanwhile, at the nearby village Sonnenberg, Heinrich's former SS army unit rolls into town in search of gold bars that belong to Johannes Lowenstein. As such, the colonel sends Officer Dorfler to collect provisions, and he arrives at Elsa's farm. Heinrich hides in the attic while Elsa exits the house with her gun to assess the situation. Afterward, Dorfler enters Elsa's house with his men and throws out her brother, Paul. Dorfler tries to rape Elsa, and his men hold her down when she tries to fight back. However, Heinrich comes out of hiding and fights off the SS officers. Together, Heinrich and Elsa chase after Dorfler, but he manages to escape and drives away. Soon, Elsa, Paul, and Heinrich leave the farm to escape from the SS. Nevertheless, Paul sneaks to the farm at night to tend to his cow Rita. The following morning, Paul gets caught by the SS, who take him back to Sonnenberg. In the village, the colonel calls for a town meeting where he plans to publicly execute Paul by hanging him from the top of a church. However, when two soldiers take Paul to the church's attic, he pushes one of them out of the window and steals his gun. As such, Paul starts open firing at the soldiers on the ground while the civilians run away screaming. Elsa, aided by Heinrich, arrives at the church to rescue her brother. Nevertheless, by the time she reaches him, the colonel shoots Paul in the head, and Elsa watches his dead body fall at her feet. As a result, Elsa goes into a murderous rage and starts shooting at the soldiers in the town square with her gun. Meanwhile, Dorfler spots Heinrich and chases after him with his men. The colonel takes Elsa with him, and Heinrich barely escapes Dorfler's clutches with a grave stab wound on his thigh. He hides in the house of a Nazi-hating friend of Elsa's, an old lady named Irmgard. Soon, the village's priest arrives at Irmgard's house. Through the priest, Heinrich discovers the SS is looking for gold treasure in Sonnenberg. What happens to Lowenstein's gold? The Starnfeld colonel finds out about the gold through Johannes Lowenstein. Johannes tries to buy his way out of the Nazi concentration camps by telling them about his family's hidden treasure in Sonnenberg. Years before the Second World War, the Lowensteins used to live in the Sonnenberg village. Their son, Johannes, marries a girl from a wealthy merchant family and sells the company to move from Germany to Palestine. Johannes' census situations are about to worsen for Jewish people in Germany. However, his parents refuse to leave. On the night of Kristallnacht, the villagers attack the Lowenstein house, killing Johannes' parents and burning their house. In the mob attack, Mr. Lowenstein drops a crate of gold that Sonja steals with the help of two men and the village mayor. When the SS comes looking for the gold, the mayor starts to give in to the pressure when his son's life is threatened. As such, Sonja and her men kill the mayor before he can rat out the gold's location. However, when Sonja goes to retrieve the gold from the graveyard, she finds someone has already stolen it. Instead, in the grave, Sonja finds a copy of the Bible. On Kristallnacht, the priest had noticed Sonja stealing the gold bars. He couldn't let Sonja and the others possess Lowenstein's gold and had hidden it inside the church. After the priest tells Heinrich about the gold's location, Heinrich devises a plan to help rescue Elsa. Meanwhile, Sonja finds the priest and makes him lead her and her men to the gold. When the two men find the gold inside the church, they also find grenades alongside them, which blow them up. Following the blast at the church, Dorfler arrives at the church with Heinrich. Dorfler kills the priest, but before he can reach the gold, Elsa blows up the church's roof with a missile launcher. A gunfight breaks out in the church, with Irmgard and Elsa fighting off the SS soldiers. In the end, only Elsa and Dorfler, alongside a severely injured Heinrich, are left. Nevertheless, when Dorfler tries to choke Elsa to death, Heinrich saves her and kills Dorfler with a bar of gold. After the fight with the SS, Elsa and Heinrich leave the town behind, and the gold with it. Sonja, the last one left alive, takes the gold with her. However, after the Americans win the war, they blow up Sonia's truck in the middle of the forest. The American soldiers find Lowenstein's gold in the car crash and decide to keep it for themselves. What happens to the colonel? After the Starnfeld colonel kidnaps Elsa, he takes her to his headquarters at the village inn. The colonel tells Elsa about a woman named Rebecca whom he used to love. However, since she was Jewish, the colonel couldn't be with her and killed her. Elsa reminds the colonel of Rebecca. As such, he stops his soldiers from killing her because he wants to replace Rebecca's absence with Elsa. The colonel uncovers his mutilated face from behind his mask and retrieves a ring from inside his eye cavity. The colonel gives this ring to Elsa, turning her into Rebecca in his mind. At night, the two sleep in two twin beds put together. While the colonel sleeps, Elsa notices a poison ring on his finger. Inside the ring's hidden compartment, Elsa finds a suicide pill. When the colonel's sleep is disturbed and he wakes, Elsa puts the pill in her mouth without swallowing it. Afterward, Elsa kisses the colonel, transferring the suicide pill into his mouth. As a result, the poisonous pill kills the colonel, leaving him with a foaming mouth. After the colonel dies, Elsa escapes through the window. Later, when Dorfler finds the colonel, he assumes he committed suicide due to Germany's inevitable loss of the war. Does Heinrich reunite with his daughter? From the film's beginning, Heinrich constantly tries to return to his young daughter, Lachen. Paul dies. Elsa has nothing left for her back in Sonnenberg. Therefore, she chooses to accompany Heinrich on his travel to Hagen. Eventually, the two reach their destination and find the Heinrich's daughter. Heinrich reunites with his daughter, who runs to him and clings to him in a hug. If you like this explanation, consider subscribing our channel. Thank you.